He knew this day would come, as the sound of sirens cut through the morning air like a warning, and the convoy of black police vehicles rolled through the iron gates of the estate, their presence sharp and deliberate against the quiet elegance of the mansion. Inside, the household had already gathered, family members, staff, and lawyers, all drawn by the same unspoken tension. At the center of it stood Si-woo. He knew they would come for him. He didn't resist when the officers approached him. And he didn't argue, didn't ask questions. He simply held their gaze, calm but unreadable, as the lead detective stepped forward and spoke the words that would change everything. "Sir, you are under arrest on suspicion of murder." A murmur rippled through the room. Some family members were shocked. Others, not at all. As they whispered quietly to themselves, like they'd been waiting for this moment to happen. As the handcuffs clicked into place, Si-woo's eyes moved instinctively, not to the detectives, not to the family, but to the doorway, as if searching for someone who wasn't there. Outside, the world had already turned the moment into spectacle. Journalists gathered, cameras flashed, reporters shouted over one another. "Did you kill your father? Were you aware of the will? Is it true? You stood to inherit everything?" Si-woo said nothing as he walked past them. He was guided into the car, the door shutting with a final hollow thud. And just like that, the narrative had been decided. At the station, the interrogation room felt colder than necessary. The fluorescent lights hummed faintly overhead as the detectives laid out their case piece by piece, like a puzzle already solved. "The will," the lead detective began, sliding a document across the table. "You had the most to gain." Another file followed. "Security footage places you at the estate that night." Then another. "The cafe where you claim you were seen burned down. The owner is missing." He leaned forward, voice steady as he spoke. "And we received a call placing you back at the house before midnight." A pause. "Everything points to you." Si-woo looked down at the table briefly, not in defeat, in thought, because he knew something they didn't. But the truth he held was tied to someone else, and exposing it would come at a cost. The station doors opened again an hour later. This time it was Ah-rin who stepped inside. She didn't slow down, didn't hesitate. Her heels echoed sharply against the tiled floor as she moved with quiet determination toward the interrogation wing. Through the glass panel, she saw him. Si-woo sat alone, the weight of the accusation surrounding him like a shadow. For a moment, she just stood there, watching, remembering. Then she opened the door and stepped into the interrogation room with her lawyer. Before we continue, please take a moment to like and share this K-drama story on your WhatsApp group chat and subscribe. Turn on your notification if you can. If you are excited for the next part, hit like and share. Tell us where you are watching this K-drama from. Did you know that you can watch the full story, all episodes in the long video version? The detectives turned. "I'm his alibi," Ah-rin said. The words landed cleanly, decisively. Silence followed. Ah-rin stepped further into the room, followed by her lawyer, her voice steady now. "Detective, I'm Ah-rin. I'm his fiancé. He wasn't alone that night. He was with me." The detective looked at Ah-rin and the lawyer. For the first time since the investigation began, the story cracked. That night, the city seemed quieter than usual. Or maybe it was just the way the investigator heard it. Meanwhile, in part of the city, the private investigator hired by Ah-rin sat alone in his office, the dim glow of his desk lamp illuminating the chaos of files spread before him. The photos, the reports, timelines scribbled and crossed out. He stood slowly, walking toward the board mounted on the wall. One by one, he pinned the pieces together. Board member, hit and run, patriarch, murder, cafe, fire, witness missing. He stepped back, then added one more name beneath them. Driver. And after a pause, Do-yun. The room felt smaller suddenly. He studied the board carefully, his eyes narrowing. This isn't coincidence, he murmured. Not at all. As his gaze moved from one event to the next, it wasn't random. Definitely not chaotic. It was deliberate. It was ordered. A sequence. This is design. And someone was behind it all. It has to be someone from within the patriarch's family. Later that same night, across the city, Se-yoon sat across from him once again. This time, she didn't come with just words. She came prepared with some evidence, as placed a photograph on the table. The investigator picked it up. The image was grainy, taken from a distance, but clear enough. It was the photograph of a car, a familiar one. The driver's, time-stamped just minutes before the location of the hit and run. The investigator looked up slowly. You were there? Se-yoon nodded. I followed him, she said quietly. I thought he'd lead me to my son. Her voice wavered slightly. But instead, she didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. The investigator understood. So the accident hadn't been random. It had been part of something else. High above the city, Ah-rin stood once again by the glass wall of her apartment. But tonight she wasn't watching the city. She was thinking. On the table behind her, a notebook lay open. Names, events, connections. She walked back to it slowly, read what she had written, then added more. Board member dies. Will changes. Patriarch murdered. Cafe burned. Witness disappears. Her pen hovered. Then she wrote, Who benefits? She stared at the page. Only one name answered every line. Do-yun. The realization settled quietly. Not dramatic, not explosive, just certain. Elsewhere, Do-yun sat in a private lounge, untouched by the chaos unfolding around him. The television across the room displayed breaking news. Si-woo formally arrested in connection with the patriarch's murder. He watched it without reaction, lifted his glass, took a slow sip. Control. Everything was still within his control, or so it seemed. His phone buzzed against the table. He glanced at it casually, then read the message. There may be a problem. From the driver, for the first time. Something shifted, subtle, almost imperceptible, but real. Later that night, the investigator stood by his window, phone pressed to his ear. Do you know why the will was changed? He asked. On the other end, Ah-rin hesitated. No. He exhaled slowly, eyes still on the city below. Because someone was being pushed out. A pause. And someone else was being brought in. Silence stretched between them. Ah-rin's voice came quieter this time. Si-woo? The investigator didn't answer directly, because the thought forming in his mind was more dangerous than anything he could say out loud. I don't think he was the problem, he said finally. Another pause, then softer. I think he was the target. The line went quiet, and somewhere in the distance, the pattern continued to unfold, to be continued.